We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask Your Astrologer Live. We have a special guest today, a special treat. We have Finbar Ross, and we are going to be talking about our trip to Ireland. So anything you want to ask about our trip, the master's here, our tour guide's here. He knows everything about Ireland. And by the way, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. What a perfect day to do this. And Finbar that's his homeland, and he knows more about it than anyone else. So welcome, Finbar, for being with us today. Let's open up with anything you want to say about St. Patrick's Day, anything we should know.
Oh, I think St. Patrick's Day is a big national holiday in Ireland, and you have possibly about 200 bands from the United States that fly over to Ireland every year for St. Patrick's Day to walk in the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I think it's celebrated more in the US than in Ireland, right?
Yeah. Other than we get all these Americans that go to Ireland for it, and all these bands, all these marching bands that come and go in the parade.
That is so fun. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody's here. Can you see the questions here? I'll read them to you if you can't, Finbar.
No.
No. Okay. Well, they're just saying Happy St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. So tell us anything that is on your mind that you want people to know about this trip. By the way, for all of you that are just tuning in, we have got a trip of a lifetime planned, and it's going to be from June 22nd to July 1st. And we are going to tour all the mystical, spiritual sites of Ireland. And not only that, but it is a Vedic astrology conference on the move, because me and Shrikala Ram, my partner, we are going to be there doing 2-hour classes almost every day. And so normally I have a conference in Vedic astrology every other year. It was every year, but now I decided we're going to do it. We're going to do the conference in Ireland, but we're going to be going from city to city, and every day we're going to be talking about everything to do with Vedic astrology. After 10 days, you're going to feel like you have been to some very intensive classes in Vedic astrology, and putting it together with Finbar, who is the tour guide that's going to take us around, show us the magnificent sights in Ireland. And he has a lot to tell us about Ireland and the mysticism, the spirituality, and what it's really about. Finbar, tell us what you were telling me earlier. It's amazing. You guys have to hear this.
Okay. Joni said to me, "Why are you wearing blue today? Why aren't you wearing green?" And I said, "Because blue is the national color of Ireland." Very few people know that blue is the national color of Ireland. But if you look at anything happening in the Irish Parliament or in the Irish Senate, everything is in blue. And if you go the original harp for Ireland and everything else, which is the emblem that's sent out by the government, but they have it in blue. But the original one or they have it in green on their headed notepaper. But the original one is in Dublin Castle, and it's in blue. And if you go to Dublin Castle when you're in Ireland, you can see all the blue carpets, the original blue harp of Ireland and everything else, because blue represents the royal kings of Ireland.
We didn't know that. We didn't know that. Now we're educated.
Yeah. And the other thing, if you haven't read anything about Ireland, there is a book called How the Irish Saved Civilization. And during the Dark Ages, all the classical Latin and Greek and everything else was held in the monasteries in Ireland, because it was shut down all over Europe and everything else. And so after the Dark Ages, the Irish monks went out into the world teaching classical Latin and Greek and everything. So there are some of the things that happened in Ireland and are still happening. Ireland has a Virgo soul and a Piscean personality. and great writers like
know what's
Alice.
funny? Virgo, the color for Virgo's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the color green. So I can see why Virgo is the sign for Ireland.
Yeah. So, and great esoteric writers like Alice Bailey say that the new consciousness of this age is going to flow out of Ireland because it was never invaded by the Romans. It has a pure feminine energy, and it will be bringing forth the energy of the dispensation, of the new dispensation. And also, Ireland is the heart chakra of the European Union.
Wow.
So, these are little things that very few people know, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And, but this is going to be an amazing tour, and it will be kicked off with Joni hosting a lunch for you all, followed by a beautiful session on the very first day. And then we will go out into a local restaurant and have a beautiful dinner. And so she will, of course, you will be so full of astrology by the time you get to, we'll have about a 10-minute walk to the restaurant from the hotel. So it'll give you time to ground everything that she has taught you while we're and exchange with you and everything else on this
Yeah,
magical.
there's one thing I wanted to say before I forget. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but on the 21st in Dublin, we are going to do a meet and greet. And what I love to do is when I go to a different country is I do meet and greets, and they are free for the public to come meet me. And it's going to be in Dublin on the 21st. And what's the name of the hotel that we're going to be at in Dublin?
The oh golly,
And
the Alex, the
what is
Alex,
it?
the Alex,
The Alex.
Alex.
At
Yeah,
the Alex, if you guys want to come and meet, we're gonna have a meet and greet for a couple hours. And I think what did we plan around what time?
3 to 5,
What was that?
2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
3 p.m. to 5 p.m. 2 hours. Shree's going to be with me as well. And I love to answer questions. And I give free books away. And so some of any questions you guys want to ask me about astrology, about my work, anything, I'm there to meet and greet everyone. So anybody that's in Dublin or in Ireland or England or anywhere, come meet me. That's the meet and greet. Once again, that's going to be on June 21st from 3 to 5 in Dublin at what's the name of the hotel again?
The Alex.
The Alex.
Yes.
So we will have more information. I'll put it out on my newsletter and everything else in case you guys and we'll try to remember to put it here in the links and everything else, because I want to meet you guys. I want to know what it's all about, where you are and who you are. I love meeting people around the world. So go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you right in the middle of your
No, that's
dissertation.
the other thing, of course, that day is summer solstice.
Yes, that's another thing that's why we picked that day, because that day on the meet and greet is the summer solstice. How powerful is that?
So,
Your sound's going in and out right now. Let's see.
sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So, um, so um, on the Sunday, as I was saying, that's the Sunday is going to be the meet and greet with Joni. Then on the Monday at 12:30, she's hosting a lunch, and then at 3 o'clock, we're going to have a 2 hour session. And after that, we're going to go to dinner. And then the following morning at 9:30, we're going to do a tour of ancient historical Dublin, taking in Christchurch Cathedral and Trinity College and the Book of Kells. And then after lunch, you have a little free time after lunch. And then at 4 o'clock, we are going to, Joni will have a session from 2 to 6. And then after that, we are going to a place for an Irish festival. It will be Irish song, dance, dinner, everything. We'll have a beautiful evening.
Mhm.
And so that is that day. And then on the next day, day 3, which is the 24th, we are going to the Boyne Valley to Newgrange and Knowit. Newgrange is the oldest temple, one of the oldest temples in the world. It is over 5,000 years old. And it is an ancient goddess temple, and it's older than Stonehenge, it's older than the pyramids in Giza. It is an amazing temple. It was built by, I believe, the Atlanteans. And again, they have huge stones and everything else in it. And it is an amazing experience. And we already have ourselves booked in for, we have the whole time there booked for ourselves. And we're going to go there. And then we have lunch. And then we go to know it. And then we come back to the hotel for another session, another teaching session with Joni and Sri. And anybody have any questions? You know, Newgrange is an amazing goddess temple. And on winter solstice every year, the sun comes through, the rising sun goes through a window box and lights up the whole chamber. There is no, when we go in there, there is lights there, but there it is in darkness, and you will experience the darkness and how the sun comes on winter solstice and comes in the ancient times. The person having the initiation was sitting in the special seat and receiving the initiation. But this temple is all about birth and rebirth and rejuvenation. It is all about fertility and how we move along. It is a goddess temple. It has 8 X's underneath the window box, which means that it is a goddess temple or a temple of Isis or whatever you would like to call it. But it does represent the goddess and the divine mother. And of course, that's the day when the mother goes deepest into the womb of the earth and remains there for 3 days. And as you know, the sun stands still for 3 days at winter solstice. And then it starts to move again. And then the new dispensation for the new year is coming, and all the new energies and everything that are flowing in. Like this year, the energies that are flowing to us this year is embodying freedom. And so it's all about, this year is all about us finding our freedom within ourselves and everything else. And this will all be expressed as we go on this journey and everything else. And so we are going through a whole cycle of 10 years of a new, we've just finished 13 years and we're now going into a 10-year cycle, and we're in year 2. Last year was embracing your soul. This year is embracing freedom. Next year is embracing power. I don't know. I haven't been told what's happening after that yet. So that's where we are. And so Ireland is very much involved in all of this. And of course, Ireland is very much involved in the 8 spokes of the wheel of the year. And we will be there for one of the most important one, which is summer solstice. And that is everything that's sown at winter. So at winter solstice has now reached its peak, and it is dispensing everything down upon us. And then the days start to get shorter, and we start to embody various things that have been put into the field. And Joni will tell us all about what is happening with all of that each and every day, and all of this, the various cycles. And there's some very interesting astrology around our trip to Ireland, isn't there, Joni?
A lot.
Yeah.
And another thing that's going to be a real treat is Sri and I plan to share new information that we have been researching astrologically. And we've just put together a new book, the both of us, and we're going to be discussing all that information. And I'm sure it's going to tie into, and it does tie into Ireland and the country and what it's all about spiritually. The energy in Ireland is known to be one of the spiritual centers in the world. And I think it is the most conducive to learning the information that Shri and I want to present for the first time ever. And it is about the divisional charts in Vedic astrology. I'll give you all a little clue about what our new book's about and what we're going to be discussing. It's called The Mystery of 3, 6, and 9. Because Nikola Tesla said, if you understand the meanings behind the numbers 3, 6, and 9, you will understand the workings of the universe. And we found a way through the divisional charts of the ninth house, which is the Navamsha, the third house, which is the Dasamsha, and or the Drakanas, and the sixth house divisional chart, which deals with the hardships in life that we're here to overcome. So we put together some amazing work, but I know you, Finbar, have more to tell us about the spiritual energy that we are going to be experiencing while we're there.
Oh, yes, we will discuss. Does anybody have a question for us?
Let's see. It says, one of these days I'm going to, Fuzzy Tiger Cat says, one of these days I'm going to visit Ireland. My last name is either Irish or Scottish. Both seem to have people with my last name. Well, why not come with us now? One day, make that this day, because this is a rare event. We're not going to be doing this all the time, guys. This is very specific and rare. And I think here's the other thing. The date that I planned that we're leaving on this trip is so mystical. For one thing, it's on the 22nd. The number 22, you know, is a master number. But not only that, there is a configuration of planets in the sky that I wanted to take full advantage of. It's actually called a Saraswati yoga. And what a Saraswati yoga is when you have all 3 benefic planets together. And they start out in the sign of Gemini and they all transit into the sign of Cancer. And even while we're on this trip, we will have something called the Adi Yoga. And what that is when the 3 benefic planets, which are Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury, are all opposed the moon. And this is rare. Let me tell you guys. And what Saraswati means, it's the goddess of learning, education, the arts. And here we are on a learning experience that we're never going to get these aspects in the summer months like this in beautiful Ireland. So this is a once, I'm not exaggerating at all, but this is a once in a lifetime experience. And I really hope you guys decide to come join us. I want to get to know everybody personally on this trip. So let's see, what else are people saying? Let's see. I have to win the lottery. Okay, no, this has nothing. Good morning. Yeah, and we have. See, normally, Finbar, they ask me questions about astrology, but they're not in the groove. Last week, I told them you were going to be here, but maybe some people didn't hear it. Let me see. Anybody have any questions about Ireland right now? The trip? That's what we're here to explain. Okay, well, Kelly wants to know, explain the numbers 3, 6, and 9. Astrologically, here's what I always say. The number 3 is associated with the 3rd house and the 3rd sign, which is Gemini, and it's all about communications. And here's what I always say about the 3rd house. It is the most underrated house of the chart because it deals with willpower. And my saying goes, if you don't have willpower, you will not be able to achieve what you want. Willpower is everything in achievement and what we need to get out of this life and this world. So 3 is a derivative of 6 and 9. It is the base, the core, the meaning. And the third house is also about communications and travel. Guess what we're doing? We're traveling and learning all at the same time. Okay. Will you guys be seeing the Blarney Stone? That's
Yes,
of course we will.
we're there. We're there on day 9.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. A lot of people are still asking astrology questions. Well, I'll go ahead and answer the one about Gandanta. Can you explain Gandanta? Gandanta is when planets are in the very last degrees of water or fire, and it's a point where things are very confused. My teacher always taught me it meant drowning, so it means people are out of control. So it's when planets go in those sectors of the last degrees of water and the first degrees of fire. Okay. So let's see. Where is the energy center of Ireland? Okay, somebody from Liverpool wants to know.
Several. The main energy
Okay.
center.
Hold on a second. For some reason, you go in and out at some points. You're crystal clear at other points, but we're not hearing you again. Let's wait a minute. Say something? Nope. You're in and out. You'll be back. Don't worry. You got to answer this one for me too. Okay. Let's see. Are you back? Nope. We're not hearing you. Okay. Here's one. How can one register for the trip? And we are going to put a link for the trip down below that when this comes out. But Finbar, you can go to galacticcenter.org and go to upcoming events, and I have it there. You can click on it, and with that, it'll take you to Finbar's website. But Finbar, what is your website? You're going in and out. No, we can't hear you. Okay, wait. I think you're coming back. Go ahead. No, you're going in and out. He'll be back. Okay. So your question is, how do we work with planets to protect our energy from negativity and negative work environment? Many thanks and greetings. You know what? Really and truly, to protect yourself, you've got to, it's all within you. Put a circle of pink light surrounding you and know that you're protected. When you say a prayer of protection, you are protected. That is a fact. And you got to know it and believe it. And I promise you, your workday will be different. Thank you, Jacqueline. I appreciate you. Okay.
There is a prayer of protection you can say each day.
You're back.
Okay. There is a prayer of protection that you can say each day. And it's array 1, prayer of protection. And I can, before we finish, I can go look it up and give it to you. It is an amazingly powerful prayer. It comes out with El Moya. It's one of his prayers, and I can look it up and give it to you. But it is a very powerful prayer.
We want that.
Okay, and then we have. Do we have any other questions?
What was the question from the one in Liverpool?
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tara, which is day 4, which is the seat of the High Kings of Ireland, and it was the seat of the Druids, and the Druids were all powerful, and so they had their seat at Tara, which is now the heart chakra of the heart chakra of the EU, and it is um, it is the most powerful place. It has also on it the Stone of Destiny. It has the Temple of the Vestal Virgins. It's a very, very powerful site. And that would be then, and then possibly it's both spiritual and it's everything to do with the High Kings and everything like that in Ireland. And then there is Glendalough, which we go to the following day after, and that is all associated with um, perfect balance. It's about all about it's a monastery that everything is in perfect balance, and it's the monastery of Saint Kevin, and it is a very powerful monastery. And some of the kings of Ireland and everything are buried there, and so it's everything associated with it is to do with perfect balance. How it's built in the windows, the doors, everything. There is an equal number of stones, and there is a lot of stuff around the divine feminine of threes and sevens, and or 3 and 4 making 7. And then there is the oldest archway in the world of any ancient monastery. Now, these were not Roman Catholic monasteries, these were Celtic monasteries. These monasteries taught Celtic spirituality, and this is the monastery where classical Latin and Greek and everything. This was a university. It was an amazing place in the 6th century.
Mhm.
And it had they had their own bookbinders, their own tinsmiths, you name it. It was a whole thousands of people supporting the monastery
Yeah.
because of what they taught there, and people came from all over the world to study there.
Mhm. So
And
it's almost like the whole island is a spiritual energy center. Is there one place that is more of the spiritual energy center of the world? That's what people are asking.
well, Glendalough is, in my opinion, one of the most spiritual places in Ireland.
Okay.
Is that? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Yeah. Okay. I did a little change around.
All right, good. We can hear you. So some person says, how does travel to places like Ireland affect energetic timing and flow? Do you have the answer to that, or is that
I think that's an
more
astrology
for me?
question, isn't it?
So I have to say that everyone is affected differently according to their chart, astrocartography, depending on where your planetary lines go over. So certain places affect different people in a different way, depending on the planets when you were born. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that if you were a Virgo or a Pisces
Yeah.
person, you would have a lot of it would have a lot of effect for you in Ireland. And
Yeah.
then we go to Kildare, which is St. Bridget's, which is another. She is the goddess patron of Ireland, and her feast
Mhm.
day is the first. It's a national holiday. It's only been a national holiday for 3 years. Um, before that it was not a national holiday. Like St. Patrick's Day was the big day, and they didn't recognize the goddess. But for 3 years ago, they said yes, we are now recognizing that Saint Bridget is the goddess patron saint of Ireland.
Yeah.
And those of you from England, she is also the patron saint of Glastonbury. And if you go up to the Tower at Chalice Well, and you look at when you stand there where the Michael and Mary line cross, you will see on the wall of the Tower, there's one side there's a woman milking a cow, and on the other side there's the scales of justice, which are not at perfectly balanced scales. And that is the woman milking the cow is the emblem for St. Bridget. She had a white cow that traveled with her. And that white cow, if 1,000 people turned up for her talk, the cow would give enough milk for 1,000 people. If 100 people showed up, the cow gave enough milk for 100 people. So the cow traveled everywhere with her. And then she was very much into truth and justice. And the scale, she was saying way back then that, people should take their swords and have them melted down and made into plowshares. And so, because she didn't believe in any war.
Mhm.
And so that was, and she was originally a Druidic priestess, which converted to um, the Celtic Church. And she had a fire temple, and the fire temple burned until Cromwell put it out. The Pope couldn't get the nuns to put it out. After Saint Bridget died, she had 12 nuns plus herself, and then every nun took a night being the firekeeper. And so after St. Bridget died, the 12 nuns just took care of it. And then on the 13th night, they said, now it's yours, Bridget. And they would stoke it up and they'd come down in the morning and the fire would be burning perfectly. And that went on. And it was when Cromwell invaded Ireland, that the Pope in the 11th, 12th, 13th century was trying to put it out, but it didn't get put out until the 16th century, until Cromwell came to Ireland.
Mhm.
And so that fire burnt and was, you know, for all those years. And so about 1,000 years that fire burned for.
Okay.
And we will be visiting that fire temple when we are in Ireland. We will be visiting St. Bridget's Well, and everything to do with St. Bridget. We'll be doing all of that as well. And then we'll go to Killarney and we'll visit all sorts of beautiful places in Killarney. We go to the Torc Waterfall, which is an amazing waterfall, and we'll walk through. All of you that are interested in fairies and communicating with fairies, you will have a great, great experience.
Love that.
And we have fairy trees in Ireland. We have all sorts of different things that happen with fairies. I even have a photograph of a fairy at Glendalough. So,
So are they
uh,
friendly?
oh, they're very friendly fairies, yes. And they're different. Actually, it's very funny. You can have two fairy trees next to one another, and one of them will be very light-hearted and everything else, and the other ones will be all about work. We're going to work, and so it's very interesting, the different aspects of the fairies that we come across.
So somebody asked for you to tell stories about FAE on the island. What do you know what FAE is?
No.
Okay. Well, maybe that was maybe when they come back around they'll explain what their question's about.
What FAE is, I don't know what FAE is.
Yeah. And a lot of people are wondering about the cost. And
Uh,
oh yeah, and will you tell them your website so they can go there?
okay, it's sacredmysticaljourneys.com.
Sacred
Sacred
Mystical Journeys.
mysticaljourneys.com.
Write that down, guys. So sacredmysticaljourneys.com.
Yeah.
Everything's there. And if you want to explain anything about what you get out of the tour and the cost and everything. Oh,
Yeah.
I just said FAE are fairies. So you
Oh,
just talked about that.
yeah. And the cost of the tour is 6,999 per person, per person sharing. If you're not sharing, if you want a single room all to yourself, it's 8,594.
Okay.
Included, everything is included in that, except your international airfare to get you to Dublin and your lunch each day. But all the transport, all the entrance fees, all the hotels, we're staying in beautiful hotels, 4 and 5-star hotels. We're
Mhm.
staying in amazing hotels. And the only thing, as I said, that you have to pay for every day is your lunch.
Okay.
And but all the transport, all of the entrance fees, all of the dinners, all of the
Is
bed and
there
breakfast,
breakfast?
everything is included.
Is
Yeah,
there breakfast and dinner? Is that right?
that's included. Yes.
Oh, wow. Good. I
Yeah.
didn't know we had breakfast too. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So all of that is included. And the tips as well are included. So you don't have to worry about tips. We have $300 in there for tips for the restaurants and for the driver.
Okay. Somebody
And
wanted to know the site again. So say it again for everyone.
Sacred Mystical Journeys.com.
There you go. Okay. How long is the trip? It's from June 22nd to July 1st. It's 10 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
And people can come in early if they wish as well.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because on the 21st, if you want to be there for my meet and greet, which anyone can come to that, and we'll talk everything astrology, anything you want to know. Uh, and Soul Lee Guide says, I'm late, but welcome to the family. Okay, how about if you're vegan? Do you have vegan options?
You will have vegan. Actually, Ireland is very good in creating for people that are gluten problems and vegan. We will get you vegan. I've had vegan people all the time on my tours, and the only place that's not really kind to vegans is France. They do not understand vegans in France.
Is that right? They don't understand.
It's a hard time to get vegans.
That is
They
so,
will come up to a vegan and they say, "Do you eat fish? Do you eat eggs?"
yeah, they don't get it.
They don't get it. In some places they do, but in a lot of places they
But
don't.
Ireland, they do, so don't worry.
Ireland and Scotland they do. They're very, and some places have vegan menus.
Okay, good.
They'll have a vegan section to their menu. So
Okay, somebody just asked, are the fairies selective as to who gets to see them?
Well, I presume they are because in all my years traveling, I've only seen them once.
Yeah, okay. You only saw
Yeah.
'em once and you grew up there?
I grew up there, yeah, but I have the photograph of this one,
Yeah.
So,
Well, I hope I see them. I don't know what we gotta do
yeah,
to talk to
some
'em.
people do, some
See
people
'em.
don't.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
But you can feel them. They will talk to you telepathically.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah, you can have a conversation with a
I
fairy.
will
You may
talk to
not see it, but you will be able to talk to them. Yeah.
I think it's funny that Dave Sullivan says, I don't understand vegan here. I think it's funny because his last name, Sullivan, is very Irish.
It's very yeah. Well, the simplest way is no eggs.
Yeah, it's just anything that comes from an animal. Anything,
Anything that comes from an
anything.
animal, they will
That's
die.
it.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
milk, that's
yeah.
all. So,
It's all, a lot of beans, a lot of pasta, lots of yeah.
yeah.
And actually, I fly. When I fly in United, I have vegan because then I get a good meal.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not good. I bet.
It's otherwise it's not good. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so
Somebody wants to know, are we going to Carlingford Lough?
Carlingford Lough, no, that's in Northern Ireland. We're not going there.
Let's see. A lot of people say, well, it's St. Patty's Day and I got to go to the bar. Oh my God. Is that all that Ireland's known for here? I think that's an excuse for people that want to celebrate St.
Yeah.
Patty's Day.
Ireland is another thing about Ireland. Ireland is the fifth largest investor in the United States.
Mm,
Ireland employs, almost as many people here in the United States, Irish companies, as the Ireland employs Americans.
yeah. I'm going to cut
And
my camera on and off just because I'm blurry and I'll come.
okay.
Usually it takes care of the blurriness. Let me try
Yeah,
one more time. Oh well, I don't know why I'm blurry right now.
yeah,
Maybe it'll straighten out in a minute. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And it's so, there's I could sit here and tell you stories all day long about Ireland. We're going to be in an amazing goddess stone circle in Kenmare in Ireland, and it's associated with the 1st of May and the maypole and everything, and it's a magical sight. And you play a little music on it, and the stones will kind of they take on a different energy.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear the music. I love Irish music. And don't we have
We
some?
have one night, yes, we have a whole night of Irish music, dance, and a lovely dinner. Everything that will be happening as well.
I can't wait for that. Really.
Yeah,
It's one of
yeah,
my favorite music.
and you can have fish and chips.
Oh, and that was another thing I shared. I love fish and chips.
Yeah,
I had the best in England. I bet Ireland's even
yeah,
better, isn't it?
yes.
All right.
And so, yeah.
Okay. What
Yeah.
else do we have? Mercury retrograde. Is Mercury retrograde? It's retrograde right now, but it won't be when we're on our trip. So don't worry about that. Let's see. Somebody just said something about Guinness, but it disappeared before I could read it. It'll come back around. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And they're talking about the cow's udder, which when you were talking about, I think the certain place where in Vedic astrology, the reason why they're saying that is Pusha is a nakshatra in Vedic astrology, and its symbol is the cow's udder. So I'm sure it is relative to the place where you were talking about where Saint Bridget is, because
Yes. Yeah.
what you're saying, yes.
Yeah. And there's a company I just bought it, and are putting out a cream, a moisturizing cream from the cow's udder.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm going to see what that works out like. Yeah,
That
it's for sensitive skin. Yeah.
And oh, great. So somebody said, what is your most inspiring upcoming Vedic event for humanity? This is it, guys. This is it. So put it in your wish list and make it happen, because I want to meet you guys and we're going to have so much fun. I know we are. I love the Irish servers on this holiday. Thank you. That comes from Sullivan. I know my aunt and uncle from New Orleans. Their last name was Sullivan, George Sullivan. So know all about the Sullivans. Okay. California has very high consumption of Guinness beverages. I didn't know that. We learned
I
something.
didn't know that either. Our Kerrygold is the second largest selling butter in the United States.
What is it?
Kerrygold.
Kerrygold. Okay.
Yeah, that's the second largest selling butter in the United States. That comes from Ireland.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Yes. And we will be doing lives while we're there too, the whole time.
yeah.
So come join us and you can be part of the live. I'll be showing everyone around on the lives too. Okay. So can you tell us more the myth of leprechaun and cloves?
Leprechaun and cloves.
Like the cloves, the herb or the spice.
Yeah, well, cloves is there's a lot of healing qualities around clove.
There is.
Like if you have a toothache, if you have a chest infection and you want to have a hot toddy, you put cloves and lemon into it, and it does. If you have acne or something like that, you can put clove oil on it. There's all sorts of different things that you can do with cloves. I don't know of any great myth. I suppose it's associated with a leprechaun and cloves, but I presume.
Leprechauns friendly? I heard they've got kind of a mean streak. Is that true, or did I hear the wrong thing?
Oh no, you did. The leprechauns are jokesters, tricksters.
That's what
Yeah,
I heard. Yeah.
yeah, and as you know, I have another great teacher that I do tours for, and every now and then she will look at me and she will. I don't know how she knows it, but she said to me, "Finbar, no leprechaun moments, because I'm going to see. I'm going to do something. Tell some off the wall story." And she
That's
says to me, "That no leprechaun moments right now."
That's funny. And how common, somebody didn't ask this, but they said four-leaf clover. How common is a four-leaf clover? I'm curious. Is it really
Oh,
rare?
it's very common.
Oh,
You
really?
really, yeah. But to get a shamrock clover, which is a three-leaf clover, that's hard to find.
Okay.
You know, when we were kids, we had to go out and growing up on the farm, there was one field we could go to, and you would search around on the hillside of that field to find the clover.
Yeah.
But we could go to all the other fields on the farm and we wouldn't find any clover. It
Uh,
only grows in some places.
well, they
And
they
so we
said
had a specific field where it grew. Yeah.
they said they meant to say clover, not clove. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Somebody
Yeah.
wants to know where you live.
I live in Montrose, Colorado, but I'm from West Cork in Ireland, a town called Dunmanway.
Colorado's beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. But it's cold there right now. It's cold here in Dallas.
Yeah, it was 30 something this morning, 32, I think, when I got up. And it was very cold yesterday. It
Yeah.
doesn't look as cold today.
So somebody
Yeah.
says, I have a pot of giant four-leaf clover growing in my yard. It just popped up one day. That is lucky, isn't it? Doesn't that mean
Yeah.
it's lucky?
Well, four-leaf clover is good, you know, because the clover comes to, you know, there was a friend of mine and her mother, when she passed, sent her messages through four-leaf clover started to grow in her backyard.
Really? I
Yeah.
love that.
And so she knew that that when she found these four-leaf clovers in the backyard, that it was her connection with her mother.
Ah, I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And so whatever this lady, she might, or whoever has the four-leaf clovers that's just after, there is some connection with somebody that's sending her that.
I love that. Somebody
Yeah.
said they found a five-leaf clover. That's that common?
I have never heard of a five-leaf clover, but anything's possible, you know,
It's true.
anything's
Maybe
possible.
that's
Yes.
extra lucky. That's
Yeah.
now they're getting crazy. I found a 13-leaf clover. I wonder if they're talking about a different plant.
I don't know. But
Okay.
this is,
This
yeah.
is something you would know that they're talking about. Red clover is a medicinal herb, for example, which is a weed, I guess, but most weeds are medicinal. What you guys don't know about Finbar is he knows so much about herbology and even sells herbs and vitamins. Tell him a little bit about that.
I have a company called Matrix Nutrients, and we sell vegan and vegetarian um, supplements, and we do not have any chemicals or anything in our supplements. They are pure, not no chemicals, no anythings, and so they are as organic as you can get them. And so we sell those, and we have a lot of things like, you know, uh, even though we don't sell them ourselves, we give people a lot of advice. Like, say, for example, somebody was having a lot of little chest problems and maybe with, you know, sort of little mucus and stuff like that. You get, it's an herb that grows on the side of the road,
Yeah.
and it's a mullein. It's called mullein tea. And so you drink mullein tea, and if you're feeling chesty, I'll guarantee you that within 3 or 4 cups of that, your chest will clear up.
Mhm.
And you know, you can take you can have hawthorn tea, which is if you have a little problem with your heart or circulation,
That one.
and that will help. There's all sorts of different things, and you know, that you can work with. Most of our products, our top selling products, are to do with cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer, the various cancers. But you know, we have zinc and copper, and we have you know, a lot of products for. We have gibberellic acid and bromelain that helps people with gluten problems and all of that. So you know, we have some really neat products.
Yeah.
And we have you know, people that have alopecia, we show them. We don't sell these products ourselves, but we'll tell you where to get them and how to get them.
Mhm.
And you know, we have all sorts of different things like that.
Mm.
And so a lot of times we just give you advice instead of selling something. It's not about the selling, it's about curing people, making them better.
Yeah. So somebody
And
said, what was the name of the heart and blood herb again?
for
Is
the heart,
Isn't it Hawthorn?
hawthorn. Yeah, hawthorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody says they love mullein.
Yeah, mullein tea is absolutely fantastic, and I buy it myself. And the mullein and the hawthorn, I buy the organic one, and I get it off Amazon. It's
Mhm.
because if you go to, like, if I go to natural grocers here, everything is in tea bags,
Mhm.
and I prefer to use the loose, and then I have it put it into the strainer and put it in. I think it works better. I think it's stronger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So we have just about 8 minutes left. And some people said, are we allowed to ask astrology questions here? And my answer is next week, I'll be back to do that. But today we are talking about our trip to Ireland with Finbar Ross. And we have any questions you might have about this trip, guys, now's the time to ask him. He knows everything about Ireland. He really
Yeah.
and truly does. So anything else you guys are wondering about this magnificent trip? Once again, it's going to be June 22nd to July 1st. And it's like a moving Vedic astrology conference with me and Shri. And meanwhile, we're going to be going from site to site to site while Finbar educates us on everything to do with the sites. And most of all, the reason why we chose Ireland is because the spirituality that is connected with it, the energy, it's going to sort of like empower us while we're learning all the spiritual knowledge. So,
Yes, you can look at it as a spiritual astrology intensive
exactly.
for 10 days. And that's the easiest way to describe it, because you will be immersed between the spiritual and the astrology, and they both cross
Mhm.
over one another, and it you will just be amazed at the what how you will change, how you will transform your life,
Mhm.
and how you see things so differently after you do something like this,
Okay, so
because this is an intensive which will change your life. It's a
it
transformational
is
journey.
meant to change your life. So somebody said how to sign up. Once again, tell them.
Go to sacredmysticaljourneys.com.
Sacredmysticaljourneys.com. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there you will find it. You can scroll, there's different tours on there, but you will find the one for Ireland, and then you can take it from there.
Okay. And somebody else wants to know your website for your herbs. We'll put that in the link as well.
Yeah, it's matrixnutrients.com.
Matrixnutrients.com. Thank you.
Yeah.
What house is the leprechaun in? The 12th? That's funny. I never thought of that.
I have a lot of stuff, and as you know, in the 12th house, don't I?
Yeah, you do have a lot of stuff in the 12th house. Mm-hmm. That's funny.
But I'm an autumn equinox baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Let me see. There's any other questions, guys? Let me see. We have the time, guys, so let's see. All right, so if you guys, wait, somebody says, I think the leprechaun would be the fifth house. I think, I think it's probably the 12th house because or the eighth house, the mysticism beyond this world. And some people said, how did you get into healing? I think that's for you, Finbar.
Okay, I had an experience with Mother Mary in Dallas in the 15th of May 1990. I'm sure I've had them long before that, but this was my first conscious remembrance of it. And by 1992, she had me teaching and doing emotional healing on people and teaching it to other people. And it was working with the memory cells of the body and the trapped emotions within the body and everything else. So I still do that. I still do. I do a lot of healing work, and that, of course, is part of the journey as well, because I invoke in various things every day for the healing to be directed by people's souls for their highest and best good. And so we do that. We have various things that we do every day. This will be an amazing transformational journey. If you wanted to give yourself a beautiful gift, this is what you need to go to Ireland with Joni and I
Yeah,
and Shri, and it will be an amazing trip for you.
yeah.
It will be a life-changing trip.
Did you say that your experience with Mary was in Dallas, Texas?
Yes,
I heard you
on
right. Okay.
the 15th of May 1990.
Yeah, and let me tell you guys something that you may not know about me, um, but Finbar calls me by my real name, which is actually Mary Joan. And I always tell the story that my mother knew she had to name me Mary, but she told me, and it was because I had a vision one time of Mary myself, and I told Finbar this whole story. So he doesn't call me Joni. He only calls me Mary Joan. But my mother, one time I had a rebirthing session and Mother Mary appeared to me and in this bright white light. And I told my mother and she started crying and she says, I knew I had to name you Mary, but I never liked the name. So we always called you Joni. So I've always been called Joni. Anyway, I thought y'all might think that's fun because Finbar takes it very seriously and calls me Mary Joan instead of Joni. Wow. And I feel the affiliation to Mother Mary too, just like you. Mhm.
It is an amazing affiliation because she teaches you everything. Like I can be doing a healing session and I don't feel I can. I just say to her, Mother, is there something I need to ask this person? And she will say to me, ask her this. And this, like, it might be an off the wall thing to me. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I ask the person the question and the floodgates open
Wow.
when we have healing. It's amazing. And it is a whole way of getting rid of trapped emotions, and working with people who've had miscarriages, with all sorts of different things.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah. Okay. Well, anything else? One more question. Our time's up, but any other pressing questions? Okay, so since I'm not seeing any more questions, guys, here is how you sign up. You go to Finbar's website, it will come up sacredmysticaljourneys.com. Is that right? And
that's correct.
go to the website And it gives you a whole list of every place we're going to be, the whole itinerary, and what's expected and what we're going to be doing. And for 2 hours a day, Shri and I are going to be teaching. We're going to be on a bus going all around the country. And here's another thing, because we want to all fit on the same bus, we have an allotment of only 50 people, and it is filling up pretty quick. So if you guys want to come, you better hurry up, because after the limit's reached, we have to cut it off because there's only so much room on the bus. So, and I expect to be looking all the countryside while we're driving around the bus, while Finbar tells us all about the sights we're seeing. And then Shri and I can stand up and give you a little mini lesson in astrology as well. So think about it. If you want to learn astrology, now's the time. And you've always wanted to go to Ireland and be spiritually inspired, now's the time. And I want to meet you guys. Seriously, this is an opportunity for us to get to know each other. So any last words you want to say, Finbar?
No, except don't miss this trip. This is an amazing trip, and this is my first trip with Joni. But I know that this is going to be amazing, because when we first talked about it, it was like I could feel it in my heart that this was just something really powerful. I call my tours intensive, spiritual intensive, but
Yeah,
this is a spiritual astrology intensive, which
exactly.
should not be missed. If you can, just be there, because it will transform your life.
Absolutely. It will
Yes.
transform your life. So thank you everyone for being here today on St. Patrick's Day. This is so perfect. And go out and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Finbar, for joining us. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Johnny. Thank you.